Good morning, everyone. Today's video is going to be about how we are staying connected here at Southeast Community College. And we have a friend with us, Katie Novak. She is liaison to the president, special projects coordinator. Good morning, Katie. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I think one of the things that has been challenging during this time is we're missing some of our normal routines or work routines where because a lot of what we do at work is we work in teams, we talk to each other on a regular basis, a lot of information sharing, and it's a little bit more complicated. And one of the things that is more difficult to do is to stay connected. So I understand that you organized a little activity for the folks that work at the CEC on the 5th floor. Tell us about that activity and how that helped to keep us connected. And I think you have some examples of what others groups are doing at Southeast to all kind of stay connected and continue to have those opportunities, to build relationships and work together.
Well, I organized a recipe exchange. We kind of called it a virtual potluck. The fun committee in the CEC does potlucks throughout the year, different activities. Everybody can bring their own favorite recipe. Usually it's got a theme. And since we haven't been able to do that in a long time, I thought it would be fun. And I stole the idea from Beatrice, Bob. I'm not sure who came up with it in Beatrice, but they had also done it. And I think maybe a few other groups have done something similar where everybody can just send what they would have brought in if we were having a potluck, or even just a favorite recipe, even if it's not a potluck specific type of recipe. So we got a ton. There were some really fun ones. We didn't have any repeats. We got family handed down recipes people pulled off the internet. And Rachel McLeod she joked that she was going to send like a quarantine couscous or something like that, but she sent a couple really good salads. So I combined them all into a book and sent them out to the area office a couple weeks later.
My understanding that people really enjoyed it and got a lot out of it until this one thing that you did, and you know what I'm talking about. Katie thought it was a good idea to rate the recipes, and she tried all of them, and her scale is where she went wrong. She went from garbage to delicious, and a number of them fell in the garbage category, and I think you might have upset a few people, Katie.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
That's the real world.
Yeah, in Golden, we do talk about being transparent. People need to learn how to accept constructive criticism. I kind of made that part up a little bit, Katie, but it really was cool. I think Gail and I think we submitted the taco soup, I think, was our choice. But it's really nice to kind of remind each other, and make sure we're staying connected. Tell us about some other examples. I think institutional research has a really interesting thing that they're doing.
Yeah, Robin sends out a piece of mail to her team. I think it's maybe weekly. And Shauna said, it doesn't even really matter what's inside of it. Just getting mail that is not a bill is just a fun experience. They all get on Zoom together during their weekly meetings and open their mail and kind of talk about whatever Robin had decided to send that day. I think that's really cool. I know that Kat in admissions is doing some really cool things. She told me that they check in every morning and they have themes, and sometimes it's meet the family or share your favorite recipe. They sometimes have dress up days where they all come dressed up as something. They've got quizzes that they do. They take polls. What did she say? This week was biker names. They've invited other people to speak to them as a group to kind of find out what other areas of college are doing.
That's super cool. So I think one of the things you and I had talked about was, especially like in your role, you have one of the most difficult jobs probably on the campus, and that's to kind of try to keep up with me. And that's very challenging, but you put that in a virtual context, it's really difficult because I have a lot of, people wanting to set up a meeting and and sometimes I forget to copy you on it, and then I don't know that I forgot to copy you on it. And then it's challenging because you set up another meeting and then we have a conflict. So what are some of the things do you think that are really important to do to make sure not only are we staying connected from a relationship perspective, but from a work perspective in this environment? How do we make sure we're including everyone?
I think that I think supervisors just need to remember, and just colleagues in general, just try to keep it in mind, other people who might need to hear part of that conversation. I think that that's a struggle even when we're in person with the various campuses and people working in different locations, just staying in touch. I have found Teams to be a really useful way to collaborate with people who are not physically in the same space as me. I mean, I just bug you if I see something on your calendar that I'm not aware of. I
Sure.
just call and find out what that is, but you just have to be flexible and patient too. And sometimes things will get scheduled over each other, and that's.
I think my thought on this is so important to create an environment. We worked really hard with Goal 9 on this, where everyone can feel empowered to be assertive. And assertive is not being aggressive. Assertive is feeling confident that you can reach out and ask someone, communicate with someone, and you always do a really good job of that. But that's super important. You know, it's important not to try to mind read why maybe someone didn't contact you. Oh, they're trying to include me. But take the other approach and say, oh, I'm sure they've just got a lot going on, and of course they would have included me had they thought about it. And then just reach out. And so I think being assertive is super important in especially this type of environment. What other examples, Katie, do you have of what others are doing?
Well, I get copied on all the Beatrice campus ones. They are doing so much. Every week on Friday, they have a different thing. They've done fun photos, birthday trivia. This week is First Thing Friday, and they're all exchanging the first thing that they would like to do when the direct health measures are lifted and the world is our oyster, which that may be a slow roll process, but what everybody is most looking forward to doing or missing from before. So that it's been really interesting to read, people talk about their haircuts or going to visit a family member.
So what's the first thing that you're looking forward to when we get back to a little bit more normalcy?
I have a new baby nephew on the way, and he'll be here anytime. Could be a week, could be 2 weeks, no more than 2 weeks. And I don't know what his mom's comfort level is going to be, everything being kind of crazy right now. So
sure.
I'm looking forward to hugging that little baby whenever I'm able to.
Yeah, I think that's really so important. Mine would be similar. We haven't seen our daughter who's at UNMC, Becky, in 6 weeks now or something. And she really wanted to come back, but I couldn't let her because she was in Douglas County and they were spiking at the time, and it was prohibited. I mean, she could have done it, but I would have had to quarantine myself, and you can't. I'm trying to, we're trying to run the college here. We can't put ourselves in that kind of risky situation. So yeah, I think a lot of people their first thing is going to be related to seeing family and friends that they haven't been able to see other than through Zoom, which is fine, but it's not near the same.
I also think a good example of staying connected is the Path to the Presidents that you did. Just a little plug for those. You sent those links around. And I've also thought it would be fun to get a group together to do what was that show? Celebrity Squares. Was that what it was called?
Yeah, right.
I think it'd be fun if we could get a game show and have a couple moderators and then have participants in a square and do some kind of, it could be Q&A about the college or something like that.
Yeah, we could do it maybe related to institutional facts, enrollment, service area, demographics.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I just had that idea this morning in our incident response meeting. Somebody mentioned Celebrity Squares, and I thought we could maybe do something.
Super cool. Anything else, Katie, you have before we wrap this thing up?
No, I think that using Teams, using Skype for business, calling people. A lot of people have their desk numbers routing to their cell phones, so it's easy to call and get those things. All the technology that we have is really beneficial, staying connected.
I like the various examples that you gave, though, of how different groups have tried to come up with things that create more of a sense of normalcy. These are the kind of things, as you pointed out, that we used to do. I think they call themselves the Fun Committee. I'm not sure who all started that. That might have been Kim Schur. Do you remember who? Kim?
It was already going when I started, so
we had a number of people came up with this idea, and they put together lunch ideas and so forth, just to bring us together usually it's during lunchtime, just to chat and interact. Anything else, Katie? I see that your complexities are not around this morning.
No, they are downstairs, glued to the TV, I'm sure, but
there you go.
my time's probably limited, so.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you, Katie, for taking a little time with us this morning and helping us better understand how some of us are staying connected.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, have a good rest of your morning, everybody. See you later.
See ya.